Hello, I'm Laura Rich Creek with Laura's Voice. Welcome to Laura Reads Foxed Books. This 10th and last episode of Season 2 wraps up the story of Nancy and her misdemeanors. We actually read chapters 10 and 11, but 11 is very short. I hope you enjoy the ending as much as I do. Chapter 10. A Summer Tour in Bohemia.
"A poet?"
said Bobby in tones of deep disgust.
"Really, Nancy, I think you might draw the line somewhere."
Speaking of lines, Nancy went on cheerfully, there was also an artist.
"Good Lord,"
groaned Bobby. Incidentally, there was a sculptor and a man who wrote problem stories.
"And I've been abroad only 2 months.
It was your going abroad that did it, Bobby. It wakened a longing for travel. I couldn't go to Europe. We were too poor even to go to the country. That Wall Street fracas complicated our summer plans dreadfully. I said to myself, I really must travel. But it must be a journey without money and without price. Then I shut myself in my room and concentrated my mind upon a purple iris in a glass vase. By the way, Bobby, there has also been a yogi, but that's quite another story. Did you ever concentrate your mind on a purple iris in a glass vase?" Bobby shook his head emphatically. "Well, of course I really ought to choose something yellow, but I prefer purple. I get just as many ideas when I meditate upon purple, and the ideas are much livelier." After I had put in about 15 minutes on the iris, I said, "Go to. I will travel in Bohemia." I got my tickets from Mrs. Wallace. I was to be personally conducted. When Mrs. Wallace couldn't do the conducting, she was to provide a substitute. But I didn't bother her much about substitutes. I furnished them myself. Do you know Mrs. Wallace? Bobby didn't.
"What does Wallace do?"
he asked. He stays at home.
"What does Mrs. Wallace do?"
She travels in Bohemia. Bobby sat up very straight.
"Now, Nancy, see here."
But she's all right, Bobby. She was a Schuyler, but she has a taste for bear leading. She doesn't have to live in Bohemia, but she worships at the shrine of genius. She has at least one rabid enthusiasm each fortnight."
"You seem to have hit her pace,"
said Bobby rather grimly. "Exactly. Only I doubled up. Sometimes I drove my enthusiasms tandem. You see, my time was short."
"Why?"
Nancy blushed. And when Nancy blushes, she is adorable. Then she looked embarrassed. Bobby knows she never is embarrassed, but he always finds the exhibition entertaining. "Well, I knew that after August I couldn't be happy outside the Philistine camp," the young woman said vaguely. Bobby returned the last day of August. It was too transparent. He laughed. So did Nancy.
"Tell me all about it,"
he said, taking out his cigar case. Bobby always smokes cigars, and good ones. Even the most casual observer would never expect him to be guilty of a cigarette. Nancy put an ashtray at his elbow and offered him a sofa cushion. "It will probably make you very tired," she said sweetly, and he took the cushion. "Mrs. Wallace gave a dinner," Nancy began.
"A good dinner?"
"Yes."
"That's not Bohemia."
"No, but it introduced me to Bohemians. They did the rest. I've been where verses and hair and vin ordinaire flowed like water, Bobby. But that came later. Mrs. Wallace's wines are distinctly Philistine."
"Where was Wallace?"
"He had an important business engagement at his club."
"My heart warms toward Wallace,"
murmured the man who came often. "I went out to dinner with Mrs. Wallace's latest enthusiasm. Wasn't that noble of her, Bobby? He's a poet, and she had told me that he was the most fascinating being she had ever known. She said he was like the angel Israfel, whose heartstrings were a lute."
"I'll bet you made the lute play ragtime,"
said Bobby. "Not at all. You evidently don't know Bohemia. There aren't any 10 commandments in Bohemia. There is only one, and that one is, 'Thou shalt not drop thy pose.' It's fairly inspiring, Bobby, to see how devoutly they follow that one law. Israfel might covet his neighbor's wife and run amok through the Decalogue, But never, never would he play ragtime. It's this way. Everybody in Bohemia falls in love early and often, but no good Bohemian ever forgets himself in loving. An egoist rampant on a field purple. There you have Bohemia's coat of arms.
But he did tune his lute to sing thy praise,
urged Bobby.
Nancy smiled.
He wrote 26 sonnets to me.
Suffering Moses.
I've never been called out of my name as I was in those sonnets, Bobby. My worst enemy wouldn't have recognized me. Now, Bobby, tell me seriously, do you think I have a sinuous, serpentine smile?
Bobby grinned.
And would you like to be a pomegranate flower and a marble sphinx and an old-world melody, all in 14 lines?
Well, it's a good thing to hurry through a stunt like that, suggested Bobby consolingly.
He found out before we were halfway through the soup that my nearness troubled him strangely. He asked if I ever felt a haunting premonition of approaching pain. I told him I seldom felt that until after the salad. Then we talked about the gospel of pain. Don't ask me what it is, Bobby. I don't know. But it's very beautiful. I almost wept over it during the entree. We had Maeterlinck with the salad. No, it isn't a cheese. It's a man who writes prose that makes one yearn, and plays that make one squirm. Either process is a delirium of exquisite pain. The poet said so. Would you rather yearn or squirm if you had your choice, Bobby?
I don't think I've ever squirmed. And we don't yearn in Philistia. We just want things.
For no apparent reason, Nancy blushed. Then she returned hastily to her poet. We reached Swinburne for dessert time. You see, the agony of protest ended with Maeterlinck and salad. With the Nesselrode and Swinburne, we resigned ourselves to indigestion, physical and moral. On the whole, I think I liked it better. It's more restful. Still, I didn't like sanguine grapes of sorrow and purple blood of pain, and dead sheaves and ruined fruit, and all that sort of thing with Nesselrode. It seemed so messy. I bore up for a while, and then I asked him if he hadn't a nice clean little Felicia Hemans bit of verse by way of cordial. He wasn't offended. He smiled a beautiful, wistful, far-off smile, and said that a star-eyed, dewy-souled child like me could not be expected to find in her heart an echo to the sob of world agony. It made me feel very young, Bobby. He looked at me across a great gulf of years and experience, and yearned for the snows of yesteryear. Anybody could see him yearn. There was no mistaking the fact that, personally, he had been steeped in sobbing agony. It was very impressive. It was calculated to make any girl long to be a healing spirit. I quite understood why women call him fascinating. Bobby, why do women find an unsavory masculine record interesting?
They don't, said the man who came often. At least good women don't. It is the hurt of the record that interests them, the possibility of healing. It is romantic, foolish. Men trade on the folly. But when good women stop yearning over worthless men, God help the world.
They were silent for a moment. Then Nancy put out a slim little hand and patted his pillow. There were times when she was distinctly fond of Bobby. He apparently did not notice the friendly hand. He had learned to know Nancy.
And with the coffee?
He asked. We had coffee in the drawing-room. The artist was served with it. He wasn't really as beautiful as the poet, but then he is very young. He is a symbolist. No, I don't know what it is. That's just it. If anyone knew what it is, it wouldn't be. The ineffably subtle is what my artist is after. He told me so at once, so that I wouldn't nurse any vain hope of satisfying his quest. But then, a little later, he decided that my smile had the subtlety of a Da Vinci smile. That's because it is sinuously serpentine, I suppose. I'm going to suppress that smile, Bobby. I don't believe it is fit for publication. The smile was rioting over the piquant face, a gay, wholesome, infectious smile. Bobby watched it with indications of approval.
A smile is in the eyes of the observer, he remarked sententiously. Don't rob the general public because a few bohemians have astigmatisms.
It was the next night after that dinner that I really set sail for Bohemia, Nancy went on. Mrs. Wallace went with me. The man who writes problem novels took us.
Was he beautiful, too? Bobby inquired, with fine scorn in his tone.
Bobby, he was lovely. He looked like a cross between an oatmeal advertisement and a spanked cherub. You never saw anything so round and rosy and innocuous and serious. Psychological. Why, my yogi wasn't a circumstance to him. Anything one says sets him off, and if one keeps still, the silence sets him off. He says silence is so full of question that it drives him mad, that he can endure very little of it at a time. And he looks like a mild, benignant full moon when he says it. We went to a table d'hôte place way uptown. It is the last refuge of the chosen few, the last stronghold of Bohemia. The artist begged me, with tears in his eyes, not to tell anyone about it.
As soon as it is known, he said, the crowd will rush in and spoil it, as they have spoiled our other haunts.
Isn't it pathetic, Bobby, to be so great that the vulgar horde follows one and hangs upon one's words and gestures? There's something positively epic about that retreat of the Bohemians. It reminds me of all sorts of things in history, only I can't think what they are. Driven back from one rocky fastness to another.
Rocky they are,
agreed Bobby. Don't interrupt me when I am seeing noble visions, Bobby. Making one stand after another only to be pursued and routed. Why, it's like Homer, or Poland, or the Boer War, or the Tenderloin. I suggested to the artist that he ought to make a picture of the devoted band planting their standard on the Harlem Height. Sort of a Custer's Last Rally group, you know? He didn't think it would be symbolic. He was afraid it would tell a story. And no one who paints a picture that tells a story can be saved. It's a very nice little place, this refuge of the elect. There's a garden and a long grape arbor and a delightful French patron. He would make an excellent Bloomingdale warden. He believes in humoring them, ces gens-là. He told me so. He confided in me. It was my hopeless Philistinism that moved him to it, I suppose. He said he had already known sept espèces in the courtier Latin, so he understood them.
Ils sont des braves garçons, mademoiselle, mais un peu. Vous savez un peu.
I saved.
C'est toujours comme ça avec les vers et les tableaux. Ils rendent un peu drôle, mais avec de cœur. Mais oui, mademoiselle. Ah, si on pouvait acheter des poulets avec de cœur.
It would be jolly, wouldn't it, Bobby, if one could buy chickens with goodwill in any of the world's markets?
It has been done, said Bobby.
Oh, no, it hasn't. Some men think they are doing it, but they always pay in something else sooner or later. Pay to the last farthing.
How many were eating the chickens on this particular night?
About 15, I fancy, mostly men. I met them all. It was quite a little family, sort of a mutual relief association. Everybody was allowed to talk about himself for a certain length of time, provided he'd give the other man a chance to talk about himself for the same length of time. Reciprocity is a great thing, Bobby. I've never seen men and women so frankly and absorbingly interested in themselves as those Bohemians. It's delightful to see such simplicity of motive. I should think Bohemia wouldn't be complex enough for the problem novelist, but I suppose he goes, not for copy, but for a chance to talk about his copy.
We seem to have lost the poet,
prompted the man who came often. Oh, no, we haven't. He was in a corner alone, his eye in fine frenzy rolling toward me. He wrote the sonnet on the back of an envelope, addressed to him in a feminine hand, and sent it over to me. It was my second that day. He sat up late the night before to write the first one. This second one was most depressing. It seemed there wasn't even a faint auroral gleam of sympathy about me. I smiled on all. I was la belle dame sans merci, and he suffered cruelly. Later he recited some of his poems. It's a way they have up there, a Latin Quarter importation, and part of the mutual relief.
Beastly hard on the artists, I call it, said Bobby. What do they get for their money?
Oh, they just talk about their pictures. The things the poet recited were rather warm for a July evening, Bobby. He went on until the stoutest held his breath for fear that he wouldn't stop in time to avoid a raid. Swinburne would have hidden his diminished head and thought himself a cold storage plant if he could have heard my poet. Everybody drew long breaths when he had finished. Mrs. Wallace was tremulous with rapture. What temperament! She gasped. He was quite prostrated after his outburst. So were we. He came over to our table and apologized for being silent. The urge of song is a masterful thing, he says, and leaves a man limp.
Bobby grunted discourteously. I don't like your being in it, he said with a certain decisive set of his jaw.
But I've come back to the fold, Bobby. I wandered after strange gods, but now I dwell in the tents of the Philistines, where the conversation wears rubbers and the people only do disreputable things. They draw the line at singing about them. There was another poet at that table d'hôte. He recited too, but he wasn't lurid. His wife said his poetry had a wan, moon-like mystery. He told me that he and a few others had found the secret. Bless you, I don't know what secret. Mallarmé was nearer than I, he said humbly. Your true great man is always modest, Bobby. But his wife smiled and shook her head. It was all very well for him to be modest, but she knew his worth. She begged the problem novelist to help wrap her poet up. They tucked a muffler around him and put him into a cape that made him look like an anemic brigand. You can't know what a responsibility it is to have the care of such a soul, she said to me in italics. Then she took him home.
Well, at any rate, they were married. I thought that was out of fashion in Bohemia.
Oh, no, Bobby, you're all wrong. Most of them are married, but they are dreadfully ashamed of it, especially if they are happily married. It isn't so bad if the marriage is a tragedy or has spoiled a life, or there are some other extenuating circumstances. There usually are. The poet and the lady who has the responsibility of caring for such a soul assure everyone that they married under protest. They thought it a degradation of soul union, but the poet's publishers would have it. They said it was hard enough at best to float his books, and the American public wouldn't stand for an American poet who personally and openly outraged decency.
They do these things better in France.
I did meet some Bohemian couples who took a pose of transcendent matrimonial bliss, something sort of subliminal and unearthly. We went to a studio supper one night, and the wife stopped us in the vestibule. She drew the curtains behind her and put her finger on her lips. She didn't say, "Hist," but she looked it. It chilled our blood. We were on the verge of a stampede when she whispered, "Hush, he is speaking his heart." We hushed. Wasn't it lovely?
Wasn't there any salt in Bohemia, Nancy?
Lots of it. Frank, jolly young fellows who were poor as church mice, but pegging away cheerfully at magazine stories and illustration and that sort of thing. They were usually married and proud of it, and they talked shop, but they didn't believe they were the cream of literature and art. But they aren't real Bohemians. They don't assume the pose. They only eat the cheap dinners.
Wait till they arrive,
prophesied Bobby darkly. If they arrive, they'll shake the dust of Bohemia from their feet. And if they don't arrive, they won't think they have arrived. I like them. They have a sense of humor. That's why they don't pose as Bohemians. Your Bohemian, so-called, hasn't really a sense of humor. If he were presented with one, it would be another case of Undine and a soul. He'd flicker and go out at once.
But what about that poet? He seems to be a wandering minstrel.
Oh, yes, the poet. He lasted 4 weeks. I went out to dinner with him often, and we met in the park. I thought you never squirmed, Bobby. It was a trifle hard to get away from Airy and Ariette in the afternoon, but a glimpse of primitive methods only accentuated the charm of esoteric flirtation. Oh, Bobby, why don't you talk to me about star-cool glances and shadow-girdled brows and stirring ghosts of dead dreams?
Rot,
exclaimed Bobby. Did you ever notice an aureole woven, flower-like, in my hair? Bobby eyed the fluffy hair anxiously. I'm afraid you aren't observing, Bobby. That aureole has been seen.
What became of him?
He went away one summer day, Nancy chanted. It was in August. That was the only graceful Bohemian thing to do. He couldn't go on, because he was a trifle afraid of me, and he wouldn't go back, and there was no fun in standing still. As it was, he had just time to show what he could do in the way of reverential love-making, and then there was a golden opportunity for parting and despair and dumb resignation. I knew the resignation was dumb, for he told me all about it. I was left with the 26 sonnets and a sweet memory. The sonnets are to be published in February, so his time wasn't wasted, and I needn't reproach myself. Yet they say there is no thrift in Bohemia. I asked one of my nice boys why the poet fled. He said the old chap had gone up to Harvard to see his oldest son, and after that was going to Indiana to stay with his wife and family until his creditors got discouraged and quieted down. Then the artist— but that's another story. And weren't we going out to tea?" Bobby rose from the couch, rammed his hands in his pockets, and stood staring out of the window, while Nancy put on her hat and veil.
"Your mother oughtn't to allow it," he said, turning around and speaking very slowly and distinctly. "Yes, you may laugh, but you ought to show some discretion in your whims. That sort of thing isn't wholesome. It isn't your sort. I tell you I don't like it."
Nancy moved toward him. He fancied she was angry, for her face was serious, but he stood his ground.
"I don't like it,"
he repeated defiantly. Nancy stood quite close to him. "I'll tell you a secret," she said very softly. "Neither did I." Then she added inconsequently, "Oh, you nice, clean, sensible, ordinary man." There was a queer little note in her voice. Bobby gave the beggar at the corner $1. Chapter 11. The Way of a Woman. A Finish. "Nancy's at home. I've seen her." There was a stir on the club veranda. The young woman who had launched the news bomb smiled sweetly. The 5 men who had at one time or another proposed to Nancy looked anywhere save at their fiancés and wives. The one man who had proved immune showed a lively interest.
"Has she changed?"
Yes. Pretty as ever, you know, and charming, but different."
"Rum go. Her marrying a poor man at last and trotting off to South America with him? I wonder if she's sorry."
The 5 men hoped she was. The girl who had seen Nancy shook her head emphatically. "Sorry? Why, she's maudlin. Positively maudlin about Bobby and the baby." End of Chapter 10, A Summer Tour in Bohemia, and Chapter 11, The Way of a Woman. At last, Bobby's persistence through all the tales of other men and Nancy's interests paid off. It seems they wanted to be together all along. Certainly not a modern tale of romance, and yet I think the characters could be dropped into any era, and we'd find similar circumstances that bring 2 people together. I don't know anything about Eleanor Hoyt's personal life, but it did cross my mind that this could be partly autobiographical. What do you think? Did you enjoy the story? Would you read more by Eleanor Hoyt? Be sure to enjoy the enrichment notes in the following video. We may do something different next season, so let me know your thoughts on the chapter video and the enrichment notes, even if it's just to say, what enrichment notes? This has been The Misdemeanors of Nancy by Eleanor Hoyt, illustrated by Penryn Stanlaws. Original copyright 1902. This work is in the public domain. Text and production copyright 2025 by Laura E. Richcreek. Thanks for listening to Laura Reads Foxed Books. Be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you know when Season 3 begins. I'm also on Facebook at Laura's Voice and Instagram at Laura Richcreek Voice Actor. Thanks for your support.